have hot bods. There isn't even one slightly overweight lady.
Okay, I'm starting the
Anyone
stream because
find
this is
out.
important, but yes, Fujimoto buffed the
Cancel.
asses of his characters in the sequel.
Are
Hooray.
you streaming this?
Yeah, now I am.
Okay, cool.
Good
Wow.
start.
Well, we can't have 5
we're-
seconds of organic conversation before we start.
No, this is a fucking professional
The
product.
2 people who are going to
This is
find this are held over from
fucking
my
Cure.
Anatube days, so...
Smith
I mean,
Music Limited is
me and
not
you
going
see.
to pay us a fucking dime if we fuck this up, dude. You know we're doing this. We're paid shills.
Oh,
What the fuck?
I'm surprised he's
And-
still alive.
How dare you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyways, we are so back with Bloodflowers.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're looking
it's now
so
up.
back.
Asa. Wait, I said the wrong name. What's
did.
she called?
Who cares?
The Hikikomori girl might like
Oh.
the Cure. Actually, the other one might like the Cure more. Never mind.
No, not the live
Excellent.
action. They're doing that?
What live action?
I don't know. There's Ayumi and Kyomoto.
Kyomoto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Well, fuck yeah.
Yeah, we're
This is
doing the Look Back
Cure.
podcast where we see
Yeah, we're
how the
looking
girl
back
was
on Bloodflowers.
cured
Yes!
of her social
Yes!
anxiety.
God damn it. This is the Cure's 11th, I think, studio album. I'm
Damn.
not counting wrong. Damn. Bloodflowers from 2000. The Millennium. Crazy. Well, this is the only good Cure album of the 2000s. So
Is it
good.
the only of the 2000s?
No.
Okay, so there's
2000,
not.
2004, 2008.
You know, I just realized I'm pretty stupid because the 2000s would be like everything that has, a 2.
Oh
From-
yeah, I'm not counting. I'm not counting the Millennium. I mean, who knows? Yeah, no, I'm just meaning the naughties as they call them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, backstory time. Wow, man.
Yep.
Do you guys know what it's like to turn 40? Me neither.
Yeah, I
But
mean, spiritually, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, guess what? No one liked Wild Mood Swings. A shocker, I know.
Nope.
It flopped commercially and critically. The tours were like pretty empty and stuff, and then the years after were kind of even worse. This is the Cure's like worst run of live shows. Just like ridiculous stuff going on. There's one show where Robert punches Simon for some reason. He's like throwing up. He's lying on the floor during disintegration. He can't get off stage or doesn't fucks off after an encore. It's just a mess. It's all over the place. He's fucking sick of this. In 1998, he's basically ready to quit the Cure. But some cool things do happen. He has a cool event in believe 99 with David Bowie, where they do a duet of a few of his songs. That was cool, well received. He kind of tries to compose himself more, and he's like, well, Wild Mood Swings may have been a dud, but I can still turn this around. And like whatever happens when he's reaching some important kind of landmark in his life, he tends to go into this darker, gloomier direction, try and be more introspective, come up with something cool. Yeah, for this album, yeah, he hypes it up pretty fucking hard. He says this is the end of a trilogy composing Pornography, Disintegration, and Bloodflowers. Yeah. So basically he's saying, hey,
let's just forget that one.
Yeah, if you guys like Pornography and Disintegration, two of our most, these tend to be people's favorites. Like older fans who were there from the start, Pornography is a lot of their favorites. Disintegration obviously is the fucking de facto fan favorite. And he's like, yeah, Bloodflowers, just like those ones. You guys are gonna fucking love it. Yeah, just as good, guys. And he's talking about all that talk, kind of how he did with Near Disintegration 2, and obviously he was talking about pornography. He's like, yeah, this is gonna be this may be our last album, you know. You guys should really come. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be the send off. This is gonna be the big finale. And everyone's like, wow, oh, man. I mean, Wild Moose Swing sucked, but you know, let's let's give this one a shot. And this also, it's an interesting album in terms of this is him breaking with a lot of things. This is him changing producers again, and this is the first to be like kind of digitally mastered, which is kind of a problem on its own. Feels a bit dated. That 2000s production on it has a few weird computer effects on it, but and also he's like, you know what, I don't need people's help on designing album covers. I'll take care of this. Yeah. That's didn't go so well. Who needs fonts, am I right, when you can scribble on MS Paint and use Times New Roman? But, you know, those are superficial things. We should mention the songs. And it starts with one of my favorites on the album. I have slight problems with pretty much everything on this album. Yeah. Yeah. This is up there. Out of This World is... Yeah, this and fuck, what's the other one called? I'm blanking.
You mean maybe
sound.
Someday?
And I mean the loudest sound. This and the loudest sound are similar to each other as these like very calming. They remind me of, like, stargazing or something. Like you're just like out in a field watching the fucking, you know, the constellations and shit. Like
loud rock music's playing.
They're dreamy, but they're not rock. How is Out of This World loud rock music? It's like very dreamy and echoey and yeah, just ethereal in that way. I don't think they're like up to snuff with like my favorite of that kind of song, but they're not really that kind. Like they're not as dramatic or dark as that. These are more like relaxing, soothing, kind of long anthems, and I think it's a very good opener too. The piano line kind of caught me off guard the first time. I was not expecting that rising little piano thing, but I think it works when you get used to it. Yeah, I like the lyrics a lot. It's kind of him kind of coming to terms with his current position and age and how he feels about stuff, without it being in a more kind of obvious way, which is a problem I have with some of the lyrics on this album. Yeah, but yeah, strong start for me for sure in the top 3.
With Out of This World and The Loudest Sound, you've described my 2 least favorite songs on the album.
Oh no!
That's fine.
Are you gonna take that?
I mean, they don't seem like your type of song. I mean, I am, because I would.
He's used to it by now.
I'm used to it by now, and these aren't like top 10 favorite Cure songs or anything, but they are. I feel like they're strong and solid in a way where lots of songs on this album, I like lots of stuff about them, but they also have really annoying stuff about them. I don't find stuff annoying about those 2 songs, except for maybe a tiny bit of like the Pro Tools silly like effects that he puts over Loudest Sound, where it's going like those sort of like laser beam sounds are a bit silly, but I can ignore this. Yeah, I think these are very solid, well-worked songs. I dig them. I like this sound. I like this serene, calming atmosphere that they bring, which is kind of it's not an entirely new Cure sound, but it's kind of a new way of doing it. It reminded me a bit of Two Wish Impossible Things, but more worked up, where my problem with that song was that it felt kind of like a demo. These kind of make good.
Yeah, it sounds,
yeah.
I can see the resemblance.
Yeah. Well, what's your problem with them, Jaws? You just think they're boring?
Out of This World should have been out of this album, I guess.
Hey!
Like, is it an acoustic guitar that's used, or does just sound like that?
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think there's probably an acoustic guitar. I mean, a lot of these songs, they're both Robert and Perry Beaumont, the roadie turned member, are playing guitar. I think I would gander that I would wager that a lot of a lot of the like more solo heavy guitar rock and stuff is probably Robert. He has shown in the past he can bring it like that. I'm not so sure about Perry's skills. I think he's more of a rhythm guitar. I may be incredibly wrong there.
Yeah,
but
I
that's
think this is like the only song that either has an acoustic guitar or one that sounds like one. But anyway, guitar I think is okay. Bass is a bit quiet, but also still okay. I don't like the drums used like to sort of be the bass as well, like the weird bass drum sound. The keyboard or piano or whatever it is fine, and the solo for it is also fine. Yeah,
sound
but
like
this
you
song
hate
is
it.
just
Sound
it's
like you
just
fucking despise it.
What?
You sound like you
Well,
really despise the song.
I've not even said anything bad for the moment, other
Well, you
than
said
Oh,
that
this
it
is
was
the
like your
good
least
part. Holy
favorite.
shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. It's like you're just making fine. So that seems fine to me.
okay. So that's what. So now comes more
Oh
negative stuff. It's
no!
just it's too long, too repetitive, and too boring. Like
That's
it's not a
that's
terrible song, but it's
Wait, hold on. How did you put fucking "Watching Me Fall" then so high? That is the definition of
That's
repetitive. That song is exactly the same for 8 fucking minutes.
for
Just the
11 minutes.
same
But
fucking.
it's a bit
No, I'm
the
saying it's. I'm
repetitive.
saying it's the same. I'm saying 8 minutes because at the 8-minute mark, it finally has that breakdown. But until then, it's literally the same fucking 4 like bars like
Yeah.
16 times.
Yeah, that's the one oh is it the one criticism I have for the song?
The whole time.
I mean, I have it as a criticism for Watch Me Fall, that it's a bit repetitive, but like we will talk about it when we get to it. But I like Watch Me Fall is like one of my favorite ones on this album.
I defo
Yeah,
disagree with like
okay,
because I think Out of This World is breezy and like kind of I can never I don't feel like it's ever long. Like I'm just like this is very nice. Yes, and then it's over.
Green's opinion on Out of This World?
Green, I definitely like it. It's definitely in the top third, or I guess in this case, like top
Yeah.
3.
Well, Green, you like Plain Song, and this is kind of reminiscent of that, right?
Yeah, and I mean I always kind of like the I don't know, more normal songs. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, more soothing, relaxed kind of dreamy songs.
Jaws mentioned the acoustic guitars. There was a stretch earlier in this song where it honestly kind of reminded me of Fleetwood Mac. I don't know if that sounds crazy to anyone.
No, that's not
I
crazy.
can see it.
Yeah. I hear it.
I
Yeah.
was getting like flashbacks to Tusk and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a song I like, so you know that gives it some credit. This was pretty good.
Yeah,
You know, a
positive.
lot going on, multiple licks that reminded me of various other bands and and songs that I do like.
I was gonna say stuff going on in it is a really good like upgrade from a lot of the stuff on Wild Mood Swings. Like that album is like sorely missing guitar riffs and leads, which this album is not. But also, yeah, a lot of those songs felt like they were very simple structurally. Out of This World really has like a lot of different kind of facets to it, and it kind of builds. Yeah,
It was a good intro song. I mean, I'll say right now, this is much better than Wild Mood Swings. Wild Mood Swings maybe has 1 or 2 songs I'll revisit out of fascination, like the Doki Doki Literature Club song. It gets a little stuck in my head.
I mean, the songs from Wild Mood Swings are also short, so if there's like one you think is mildly cute, it's much easier to throw on than like like even some of the songs here which I like quite a bit, like Bloodflowers or 39, or even I don't dislike Watching Me Fall. Like those are ones where I'm always like I'm never I'm not that often like I want to spend 12 minutes listening to Watching Me Fall. That's something I mainly listen to when I hear the album. Whereas
I'll say
ones, you can go back.
Wild or this album in general, Bloodflowers, I don't think there are any songs on here that are going to make my top 10. Honestly, maybe not even my top 15 or 20. But
yeah, it lacks like.
I think I agree with you.
But it's there was very little on here that was painful. It felt like kind of a safer album where he was like taking a step back, being like, okay, here's the things I know actually work. Let's
Yeah,
Let's
completely agree.
let's throw him a bone. It is hilarious though that last album was this really self-indulgent,
Yes.
obtuse nonsense, and he responds by being self-indulgent in another way, whining about how old he is.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it was fine. I think I slant towards your
Oh, hi.
opinion more than Jaws. Sorry, Jaws.
I don't mind.
That's as expected. I mean, when I was thinking of this, I was like, I know Jaws is gonna like all the songs that are solo heavy and are
Yes.
like. So I was like, before I even like before the listening party or anything, I was like, Jaws will probably like Watching Me Fall more than I do, and he'll appreciate 39 and Bloodflowers as these like more rock and darker, more epic songs. Which I like those songs fine. They're cool. I don't. The songs I have problems with on this album are just like I mean, I have minor problems with all of them, but the ones that really like kind of irk me are not that many. Like, I think it's a solid album. Yeah, Watching Me Fall. Speaking of, I do have one of the problems I have with Watching Me Fall is its placement, though. I really think it kills a lot of the mood.
Yeah,
It either
I agree with
just before or
early.
at the end of
Yeah,
the
that's
album.
fair.
Yeah, like jumping from this like dreamy 6-7 minute thing, it should have gone into a lighter song afterwards, a shorter, lighter song. Instead, you're like, whoa, okay. I mean, it's just a shift, and you have to be ready for this. Like, I mean, it's just this epic in proportion. I mean, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, like
like,
the
I
first
mean,
two
it's literally like
songs
a colossal song.
combined
It's
are like
probably the
18
long-
minutes long or something.
Yeah, up to this point, this is the longest Cure song I believe we have had. I think it will continue to be actually because End Song is 10 minutes. This is like over. Yeah, that's on the last album. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it being like this. It's kind of harkens back to Wish with From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea sort of sound to it. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think the structure is just too repetitive for too long. Like, I get that it's trying to build up this thing, but I really don't think like it had to do it in such a kind of repetitive way where it's just it kind of like it's like trying to lull you to surprise you in a weird way. I feel like it's trying to like
Yeah, it's just slowly
establish
getting
itself
darker
over
in
and
terms
over.
of the
Yeah.
lyrics and weirder.
Yeah, exactly. And I mainly listened to this the whole time just waiting for that Watching Me Fall, like that breakdown thing, that downshift as they call it, where all the fucking guitar solo of Jimi Hendrix flourishes. And that's cool, and I like that they do it twice. But I really feel like at least 4 minutes could have been trimmed off the beginning of the song, because I really don't think it's that interesting listening to the same verse chorus structure that like slightly builds up and sways back down again and again and again. It's just too much. It's just tighten it the fuck up, really. Yeah, you guys.
Yeah. That's like an 80s vibe, especially at the beginning. Like just
What like what?
Like a disco style in a way. Like the beginning is yeah, it's like it's only the beginning that sounds like more disco-y, but in general the song has like an 80s vibe. Yeah. I mean, if you listen to it again, you will see what I mean.
Can't say I picked up on disco, but I'm not totally sure what disco is. So
you will see. Yeah, I think the guitar tone is fine. Like I like the one in Wish more that had like the best guitar tone and bass tone of all the albums. But it's fine on this album. Yeah, I do like the guitar. The bass is a bit muddy, but it's still fine. I do like the vocals. Lyrics are, as I said, too repetitive a bit, but it's still okay. And yeah, I do like the guitar solo, and the song is a bit too long, but I kind of like the song. Mostly positive things to say.
Well, heck yeah. Yeah, Green. I'm sure this tried your patience a bit, I would imagine.
Yeah, one of my notes actually says, "Fuck, this is long."
It is.
I also put better towards end. I found the start really heavy and grating and annoying. I didn't like this song
plodding,
so much.
I would say. Yeah, it's meandering and
I
plodding.
also didn't like how self-serious and wailing it was. It just felt like a little much.
Yeah.
This song just didn't have a lot for me.
the two, a lot of the lyrics on this album are about, missed opportunities, old age, not having it, writer's block, all these things. This one is a bit too like woe is me in some parts for me too.
Very true.
Where it's like, oh, everyone is, watching me fall, and all there's a relationship with like the public and the press and the critics, and it's like, I mean, that's fine, but I mean, I'd rather kind of hear you talk about like sing about like Twilight Vistas and blood, but yeah, but it's fine, yeah. Okay, and then I have a problem.
We know.
Always say, listen, I like this song instrumentally.
Yeah,
I think it's fine. I think it's not amazing or a highlight, but I like it. I hate that he is like this like preachy, like this is how the world works tone of the lyrics really fucking irks me. Because it's
but
not
the way
something
he's singing it doesn't feel preachy to me. The lyrics are, but not the way he's saying them.
I mean, his singing is much better on this album. Like, he has found a... he doesn't sound like young Robert Smith. Like, it doesn't sound like Disintegration young Robert Smith. But he's not also trying all these goofy fucking disguises to mask the fact that his voice sounds different from, 20 years of drinking and drugging. And also just being older. So I enjoy his singing on plenty of the songs here. But it just fucking annoy me. Like he's just like being like, oh yeah, this thing and that and blah blah blah. And I'm like, just nothing content. So it's just like I just listen to the instrumental demo. Yeah, it's always been one of my least favorite things in the album. It's fine. I'm not saying I hate it or it should be off of this, but just like could have been something better if it wasn't just this like I really dislike I really dislike people think that they have like the world figured out in that way, and they try to put that in their art and just be like, yep, here's the deal, guys, here's my
I don't even
philosophy.
think he's serious.
I mean, I don't care if he's serious or not. Like that's the issue on Mood Swings too. He could just say that after every song. Ha, it was a goof, I wasn't serious, I was only pretending to be retarded. Well, cool, pretend somewhere else.
I would agree.
Yeah, it's just too like.
I found this preachy and juvenile and.
Yeah, it's juvenile.
Honestly,
and
if
he's
you're
also talking from a position where it is not pertinent to him. This guy is a rich, set for life superstar, and he's telling me about the woes and problems of the world. It's like, yeah, I don't think you're really the guy to ask, Robert. Frankly. Go on, Green. I want to hear more. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of silly to put something so juvenile in an album about having a midlife crisis. Yes. Where you establish, oh yeah, I think and talk like a 17-year-old boy. It's like, well, maybe you deserve the midlife crisis if that's how you were thinking.
Yeah, he's always tapped into teenagery feelings, but this period is weird because he is like because of the writer's block and the problems he's having creatively, he comes off as like childish and moan, but also like old man shouts at cloud at the same time in a lot of these. I much prefer his outlook on Songs of a Lost World when we get to that, because he is so old, he's 65, that he is like removed. Like he, it wasn't that long ago that he was like young sexy superstar. Like, this is only 8 years after Wish. So he's still kind of like he still feel like he's like annoyed about that and feels like it's unfair. Whereas in the last album that they've done, he is just like singing about death and just being like, "Yep, I'm a fucking ancient man," and it works better than this, where he's like, it's not embarrassing like in Wild Mood Swings, where he's like, "Yeah, I still got it," and no one's into it. But here it's also kind of like some of the comparisons he settles on are silly, childish, obvious. They're obvious for Robert Smith especially. He's always been, all of his best stuff, he's always much more subtle about this kind of thing, and it's much more poetic than here, where it's just kind of being like, yeah, here's a thing I think. Well, okay. Yes, go on, Josh. Sorry, after we shit all over the song.
I have no problem with this song in
God
any
damn
way.
Okay. John was just like nodding his head. I agree.
Nod
The world
sagely.
is neither. The world is
I
neither
don't even
fair nor
agree. I
unfair.
just don't mind. Like it has no negative effect on me in terms of lyrics, and I do like it instrumentally. Like I do like the guitar, I do like the bass, I do like the keyboard, I like the guitar solo, and that's it.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, luckily this segues into my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, this
This
became
probably
my favorite song after listening to it the second time. Like it wasn't in the
Yeah,
listening
it
party, but
doesn't
it
get
became.
the hooks into you the first time for me either. I was like, it didn't like stand out that much to me. Then it's become like one of the ones I revisit, like just naturally. Like I listen to the song quite often. It's not top 10 still, but yeah, it could be like in my top 15 maybe, or maybe 20. That's very very strong. I like it. It's like the triumphant return of the Cure guitar tone,
Yeah,
like the Fender Bass
style
6.
rather than tone.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's already like a really cool rhythm, and then with that ding 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 echoey reverb thing comes like, I'm like, yes, fuck yes, I missed this. This is like, yeah, perfect. It's structurally it's not very super interesting, but yeah, I really like the chorus and verse structure. It's equal parts like kind of upbeat and optimistic, but also like melancholy in a way. It's just like the right balance. It's like it's not too bright and poppy like those pop songs, but it's also not morose. It's just right in there. It's a unique sound. It's a unique feeling in the Cure catalog. It's like a new sound that we haven't really heard exactly before, and he's singing it like kind of with us all. I like the little, like breakdown solo, the keyboard guitar combo thing in it, and it's just the right length too. It could have maybe used like a bridge or something like in the latter bit to differentiate itself a little bit. If this could have been worked into like an even better form, this could have been like a really strong single. Probably there is no single on this album for. He just didn't want to do it, which the record label's against, and it's just a silly move. I mean, they're already fighting back from like a negative perception on their last album. Not having the correct advertising for this did not help. And this album was not at all received. Like it wasn't like people didn't think it was as bad as Wild Mood Swings. Most reactions were just like, it's just boring. It's just these unending slog songs. No one cared. It didn't sell anything either. So
yeah, I mean, fair enough, but boring is better than Wild Mood Swings.
Yeah. Like, yeah, sure. This isn't as appealing to the every person as Disintegration was at its time, or Wish and stuff like that. I totally understand that, but I feel with a bit more work on some of these songs and better eye to like singles and B-sides and more of a push behind it, this could have done better. But whatever. History is history. Yeah, I really like this song. I won't say if I love it, but this Out of This World and Loudest Sound are like the album songs I re-listen to the most. Those three, yeah, very good.
I think it's like the song with the strongest instrumentation. Like as you said, the old style is back, and it just sounds really really good on here, because none of the other songs have it in this way. Yeah, I do like the guitar effects, the bass, the keyboard. If it is a keyboard, I'm not sure what it is. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
And I do like the guitar solo. And yeah, I just like the song. Just took a second listen for it to jump to number one.
Yeah, it's catchy.
But this is pretty good.
Catchy in a really good way. Yeah. Yeah, great.
I had to check my mic. I had shockingly little to say about this. Okay. I just had that I wrote that it's pleasantly moderate and nice enough. I don't have any feelings on this. It was okay, which about half the songs on this album were just like okay.
Yeah. It's true.
Great Green's hitbox is harder to hit than ours. It's true.
It is.
He has like the Toho red glowing core, and this arrow like passed like a bit to the right, and he was like, eh.
Yeah, I'm like Shadow of the Colossus. You have to find the one vein and charge up
the
your
sweet
attack.
spot. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's okay. You don't have to have the right opinion. That's fine.
That's fine. That's good.
Yeah. And last day of summer. Yeah,
It's
I quite like this one. Yeah, it's interesting. First few times I heard it, I was like, blah. I threw it in with There Is No If and Where the Birds always sing. And I was just like, this is one of these like kind of loping. This one also I think has good acoustic guitar and it doesn't actually something like that. I kind of enjoy some of the vocal things. Like it's a bit like trying, but I still kind of feel it when he's singing like how he never even tried and stuff like that. Like that still feels like honest enough to me where I still resonate with it somewhat. This is the perfect like middle song for me, where it's just the middle of the road for me. Like I don't dislike it. I don't especially like it, but I'm happy it's on the album. It's a good one to throw on here. It's, the metaphor is a bit,
I think
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine for a teenage girl, which Robert Smith is, so that's cool.
40-year-old
As
teenage
as
girl.
all true artists
all
are
inside.
on the inside.
In the heart. So yeah, I'm pleased with this one. But yeah, this is like my maybe someday. I don't especially strong things to say about it. It's good.
That's actually like a legit. You could almost make something out of that. It's like, which type of artist are you? Secretly a 9-year-old boy or a 17-year-old girl? It's always one of those.
It's one or the other. Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Jess?
I think it would have been better as an instrumental. Like I do like the bass and the guitar.
I don't disagree, honestly. Yeah.
And whatever synth or keyboard or whatever this, which I don't. No, wait, I read it wrong. I don't really like the synth or keyboard, whatever it is, but I do like the.
This is one of the ones where I have a harder time recalling exactly how it sounds.
Yeah, I've trouble as well. I remember some guitar stuff, not much more.
I never tried. Yeah. Also, he needs to. He rhymes old and cold. I feel like in multiple places on this. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, or maybe the last album. It's just a very simple rhyme.
Yeah. It's a decent song, but better as an instrumental.
Yeah. Green, how was your last day of summer?
I like this. I mean, kind of the same. I will add, I did like the tone of this. It managed to be sad without being too saccharine,
Yeah, well said.
And on an album where it's trying to be sentimental and mopey, I think it was good. They had a little restraint, and he kept it in a nice place. Yeah, it just kind of plinks along. It's a good one. Yeah, just kind of cure standard.
Yeah, I agree. But the fact that he is still able to tap into that after Wild Mood Swings, and after it's been so long, it is kind of noteworthy in itself. I mean, that's this album. Really.
I just like that he managed to find a good tone.
Yeah. It's like good job being able to recapture that like earlier sound somewhat. It's not as good as that stuff. Everyone knows that, but still he can still tap into that his core. Took a while of him getting stuff out of his system, but he was able to return somewhat. I do not have as much sympathy for There Is No If though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
man,
actually got
it. Yeah, go on, Joe.
I got it wrong when we talked about the worst.
You said earlier were
There's No If is the worst song.
Penultimate. Yeah, There Is No If is the worst song. I mean, it's hilarious that this would still be like near the top third of Wild Mood Swings. I mean, yeah, what is that doesn't mean much, but Green earlier said like juvenile and childish. Yeah, just everything like that is this song. Like the lyrics are fucking lame. He is expressing like a sentiment that he has done way better, much more sophisticatedly, much more intricately. If you think about it, this song and like Same Deep Water as You, or even How Beautiful You Are, like these songs all kind of have the same sentiment, or even Pictures of You, and those kick this song in the fucking teeth so hard. It's just uninteresting instrumentally. The lyrics are really fucking annoying just at some points. I hate if you die, you say so do I. You say that really is like fucking like little girl diary.
I think
sort of
that's
shit.
funny.
Dude, like
Yeah,
that's stuff
so
that
are
he
car
already.
crashes.
He was past that in like pornography. Like Faith has more like sophisticated wise beyond his years lyrics, and he was 21. And here he's singing about like, oh no, if a girl breaks up with me, I'll kill myself. You've been married for like 10 years,
No,
dude.
what I meant is
Like-
funny is the repeat of sad. Like the
Oh,
way
well, he does that
it.
all the time. That's like his filler word. I was thinking that while we were listening to Wish, and I was like keeping along with the lyrics. He does like you said and I said like all the time, and that's like his or like he just sticks that in the middle to make a measure fit, which is fine. I mean, it's a cool trademark of his. But yeah, here it's just just when you die, so do I. Just that sentiment it is like is just kind of a bit embarrassing for at this point. Like a 40-year-old man being like, oh. Yeah, I just don't like this song whatsoever. I intentionally skip it often.
You know, this is a lot funnier when you realize he's heard Friday I'm in Love played 3 times a day for the last 10 years at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, again, I'm much more like how in Songs of Lost World he has embraced death instead of acting like he is like super. I don't buy that he's this like scared of it when he's 40. When he was turning 30 on Disintegration, yeah, and even then he was like lashing out against it. He was acting toward it in a way that was interesting and like rejuvenating kind of. Here he's just like he's just like being like, I remember what it felt like when I was like 15. It's like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I don't like this song at all. Yeah, sure you guys do. Not?
No. I don't like this weird glass bottle effect in the beginning. It sounds like a glass bottle that's rolling around.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, keyboard is okay. I don't really like the guitar. I can't even tell if there's a bass or not. And yeah, I don't like the song. I have not that much
over
to say about
it.
Yeah, I mean, I put that some of the sounds are just goofy.
Yeah.
It's a little
What
over
you're noticing there
serious
is
in
that
places.
production thing I was talking about. Like, because this is the beginning of computer production and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to just overlay a sound than it was in the past. Like, it was a trial. Like, I remember, Green, you mentioned Pornography, the title track Pornography on the end of the album, sounding like it took a lot of work because there's like so many overlaid effects and things, and it was 1984. 1982, and that totally makes sense. But now coming into 2000s, you just drag and drop like some silly swooshing effect or dumb sounding little synth thing, and just sort of like, that's fine, like because you don't have to kind of work to produce it or to come up with the sound or to implement it. It's much easier to just like make short-sighted decisions, and that happens on this song and a few songs on here. Silly.
God damn.
Well, we move on to.
Let's move
The
on.
loudest sound.
Yeah. Yeah, you said this was like your favorite, right?
I said maybe someday, but yeah. Then this and Out of This World, I have a hard time picking which one I like the most out of these two.
I think I didn't love the loudest sound. I think it's probably my favorite on the album.
Yeah, it's strong. I think it's more. Out of This World is more relaxing and stuff. This one is kind of the closest one to being kind of that beautiful Cure sound, which I enjoy. Like it's a kind of orchestral. In a way, it's got all these nice like keyboard and kind of like fluty sounding melodies on it. Yeah, it's a very good like kind of a lullaby sound to it.
Wrong title for a lullaby.
not that kind of lullaby, but yeah, not also the track lullaby. Yeah, it feels. I don't like those like swooshing sounds at the beginning. Again, like talking about the slow production, but I do once he starts. I also really like the voice in which he's singing. Like it's this very kind of whispered, gentle, kind of heartfelt way that he's singing it. Yeah, just very spacious, echoey. Yeah, it reminds me of like stuff like Plain Song and all that good stuff. Yeah, very strong. Definitely up there for me. Top 3.
I will chime in and say, yeah, I like this one for the most part. It was nice and slow and sweet. It was pretty pleasant. I liked the guitars in particular. I liked how they were mixed in. Where some like little licks come in as you go along.
Absolutely.
I think this is the best song in terms of having a lot of layers without it being messy or annoying. They picked good sounds. Oh, I was also going to say, in There Is No If, a few of the sounds were almost like machine-like or robotic or sounded like something from a movie trailer. And they just seemed annoying. They did a lot of the, heavily edited Cure thing they like to do without getting, without spilling over the edge to where it pissed me off. So I liked it.
Yeah. And this also has that guitar tone me and Jaws mentioned on Maybe Someday. It's just slower and more drawn out, but like ding 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 ding, like that reverb thing. Yeah, very good. I also think the lyrics work. Like they're not amazing or anything, but I think they feel like Cure lyrics. They're sufficiently evocative and yeah, dolorous in a good way. I enjoy them a lot. It feels like he's like nostalgic and kind of pining for like halcyon days, but in a way that doesn't seem forced or trite. Yeah, very honest, personal song. I like it.
I don't like
Do
it.
the thing, Joss. Say the thing.
Yeah, I am saying the thing. If you will listen, I don't like the effects. I don't like the drums. I do like the guitar. Once again, a song where I cannot really tell if there's a bass or not. The keyboard or whatever it is okay. I do like the guitar solo, and yeah, I don't like the song aside from the guitar. It's my third least favorite on the album.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare I again? But two and a half good songs are coming up.
Is interesting. 2.5 good songs. That is funny. Yeah, you mentioned you didn't know if this song had bass. I'm like, well, I'm sure he knew if 39 had bass, because that song has like the loudest bass since fucking At Night.
Yeah, 39. In all caps, I wrote, "It's go time." Yeah, that's my first note.
Yeah, it's more upbeat than yeah, the sound that Jaws likes. I mean, he enjoyed Maybe Someday is like a different thing, but the sound that he enjoyed on Watching Me Fall, then you have to wait almost till the other end of the album to get that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the song is fine. Again, kind of obvious stuff going on. Like 39 is the title. That's just silly. Him equating himself to a fire and stuff like that. That's like okay. Like I don't think that's like objectively.
I wanted to hit him in the head with a shoe.
Okay. I totally respect Green's sentiment. I'm not as good of a writer as Green, so this makes sense. Yeah, I know. Like you're totally right to think that. Yeah, but especially like when it comes from Robert Smith, I'm like, dude, you wrote Disintegration and fucking Homesick, or even The Kiss. Like you can be more like, creative and more like intricate with it than this, and just being like, what is it like? How do I feel like turning 40? Well, it's kind of like I'm fucking Lord Gwyn, and I'm gonna and I'm like,
he's also a funny person.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, he predicted that.
Oh, there needs to be like a remix of this with like a bunch of Dark Souls stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like, and it can be a bit cloying when he's like the way he's shouting, like the fire is almost out, like that thing, because he can't really do that like bellow sort of like high wailing thing he could do in the past. I do really like the breakdown when it goes into like when he's like, all my life I've been here, and there's like these kind of strings like rising, like a little middle bit there. Yeah, it has some annoying things. I think it works overall though as like everyone is kind of like just like giving it their all instrumentally, making this seem very like, you know, big and important, and it ends up winning me over. Yeah, even if like definitely lots of the lyrical stuff is kind of obvious and
Okay, I'm just gonna say this song makes a great case for shooting yourself when you're 27. Just gonna
I'll
say
take it
that.
you're not a fan though. Yeah.
Well, it's inspiring in a way. I'm not gonna say the song was horrible. I will say he deserves to be made fun of for making it.
That's fine.
It
I totally agree
it's
with
not
that.
off. Like it's cringe. You're allowed to be a bit cringe. Like you're allowed to be an old sad man with makeup on, you know, lamenting how weird it is that you're still doing this.
You're fat now.
You're fat now.
I get it.
I didn't want to go there, but you know, it's you said
I mean,
it.
it's fair because, like I said, the Cure have always been about the looks a lot. Not all about the looks, obviously. They have some of the best pop music ever.
I mean, I
But,
always
like,
bring
for the
up.
pop-
Oh, sorry, go.
Yeah, like, sorry, I was just gonna say, if the Cure looked like, I don't know, The Who or something like that, just like very average, they probably would not have had as astronomical success as they did. I guess not just Robert, Simon, and Boris when he was in, they were all like heartthrob poster guys. Like they had really cool styles and fashions. They were all very, very good looking in a very cool, mysterious way. Obviously, Robert Smith as a visual icon inspired loads of like cool art and iconography and posters. So you know, it's a bit sad that because it's not just happenstance. It's not just like, oh, he flipped a coin and he turned out not looking that great. It's like he just kept fucking partying like he was 20 when he was 35, and that's what happens. And you know, you don't exercise and stuff, and it's obviously not a great, you know, I'm not criticizing the music by saying he doesn't look that great, but it is part of I'm not going to say either that it wouldn't look better for the Cure if he was like sexy older man like Jeremy Irons. That would be better.
I mean, I've brought up I've brought up the line from Christopher Lash, you know, many times, you know, talking about looking at old men in tight jeans and rocker t-shirts, saying like, you know, if imagine them wearing a toga and think of how much more dignified that would look than them, you know, dressing like teenagers their entire life. I'm not gonna harp on it endlessly. It's like, I mean, I think it's bad for him if you let yourself like age gracefully and just like accept your role as you get older. I know, haha, this is me talking. But if you do that, you can transition from being a cool young guy to like a cool old guy, which is its own valuable thing. It's just weird to fucking dress the way he does.
The Cure's biggest problem right now, already like musically and reputationally, was that they were seen as uncool has-beens. You know, having the live show confirm that, especially with that like terrible run of like in terms of performance live shows too, where not only does he not look great, but also the performances are fucked. Yeah, this whole period like after Wish, up until like what saves it is like the 2000s, they really tighten up the live show, but it's still like, you know, their reputation took a big fucking hit, like even for longtime fans. It was like, oh man, you know, this is getting bad, and that's unfortunate. Jaws, but I'm
sorry.
How are you going, Greg?
Well, I was just going to finish and pass the torch, but saying, yeah, this song is melodramatic and kind of annoying. It's not the worst. I'm never going to listen to it again after this, but it's not terrible or anything. I will say there were some goofy synthetic sounds. There was a point where it sounded like he left his XLR cable next to a magnet.
Yeah, there's a lot of swooshing and warping going on in here.
Yeah, I mean, and as someone who has also made that mistake, you know, I sympathize.
Yeah, these two songs, especially Bloodflowers, they really want to like remind you of Pornography. Like, remember Pornography? That was a crazy sounding album, but that album still sounds really like weird and different. Like the production on Pornography is really fucking unique, and there are multiple like sounds that you will not find anywhere else than on Pornography. You turn on Pornography and you hear the weird fucking clicky drum track from 100 years. And you're like, what the fuck? And you're like, how the fuck did they do this back then with all this tape and stuff? Here it's like, oh, you threw a bunch of silly computer effects over it. Okay. They don't sound as good and they're not memorable. They're just
I think
annoying.
the effects, at least for this song, are okay. Like I do like the drums. I
These
do
aren't
like
my
the
least
bass,
favorite on the album.
do like the guitar, the keyboard and synth or whatever is fine. Lyrics are too repetitive. I do like the guitar solos, and yeah, this song almost makes me like it. It's almost there.
Well said. That's a good way of putting it. And we close off with, yeah, come on. I didn't know you had more stuff to say.
Not really. I was only going to say I don't have many problems with this. Like this is certainly one of the better songs on this album.
Yeah, and keeping with trying to kind of resurrect your younger form, since not since the Top has an album ended on its title track the same way those all did, and yeah, we end with How's That Bloodflowers. Yeah, again, it's hard not to draw a comparison to Pornography, the rolling like drums at the start of it, like fucking Hanging Garden style stuff. Jason Cooper is a good drummer. He's no Boris Williams, but out of the 4 guys on Wild Mood Swings, he was a good one to keep, and he really like came into his own. I mean, he's a lot younger than the rest of the band. Also, it's important remembering like they're all like reaching 40 or some maybe past. I don't know how relations in accord if they're older or younger than Robert, and then he's like 26 or something, and he doesn't have much experience. But he works. He's just he's just right for a lot of tracks on here. I'm not gonna say the drums are like blow me away or a highlight on any of the tracks here, but they're not a distractor. Like they're solid. He does his job right.
Yeah.
He's a good drummer. And I like the drums on this song. I have no problems with this song concretely. It's not as obvious as 39 in what it's doing. I appreciate some of the imagery in the lyrics. I like its kind of epic crescendo finale sort of vibe to it. I think it's a solid closer. But it does not live up to tracks that it reminds me of, though. Like, I will take 100 Years or The Kiss over Bloodflowers like any fucking day of the week, because those songs just, what is in them is much more unique, memorable, and sticks with you way more than Bloodflowers. Like, yeah, I'm trying to remember like lyrics from this, and aside from Flowers Will Never Die or Always Die, and Flowers of Blood, which is really are just the lyrics that reference the title.
Yeah, I love it when they say the title during the song. That's always cool. Like, remember, killing an Arab.
Yeah, how beautiful you are. Boys, I said, how beautiful you are.
Or when he says close to me.
Close to me?
I mean, that's probably the
Or when he says head on the door,
yeah.
in close to me.
Remember when he screams pornography at the top of his lungs?
I love pornography. Yeah, I love that one.
You did not do that.
No, it's a good song. Like, after... Yeah, it's probably like, I don't know, 4th, 5th on this album for me. Probably it's pretty up there. I like it.
Yeah, it's just pure standard kind of.
I mean, I like
different kind of Cure standard than Last Day Summer.
If you told me that this was just the same song that had been on an album 3 albums ago, I would have believed you.
It would not be crazy. Yeah, it would not be crazy. Yeah, but it's a solid statement of a song.
I mean, this is my number 3 song on this album. I like it more than 39. I do like the drums.
Very good guitar rips on.
Yeah, like, I do like the guitar tone, keyboard or synthesizer or whatever is fine. I can barely hear the bass, which kind of sucks. Like, I'm once again not 100% sure if there even is bass, but I think there is. And I do like the guitar solos. Yeah, I kind of like the song. It's a bit melodramatic at points, but it works overall. Yeah. Green also doesn't seem to have a lot to say about it.
I don't.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's just cover the little I don't know what you call it, B-side internet thingy, Curio. Spilt Milk. There
Curio.
are other songs I could have included. Yeah, it's true. Curio. From like around this period, I don't think any of them are like especially interesting. There's one he does with Reeves during this period when he did that Bowie show I mentioned. He met Reeves Gabrels, who has been Bowie's like songwriting partner and guitarist since the 80s, and he becomes a de facto member of the Cure in 2012, and he is the guitar player on their latest album, which is interesting. He does a song for an album of Reeves Gabrels called Yesterday's Gone, which is a very sweet acoustic track. He does a fun single called Wrong Number with his help, which has its problem, so I didn't really include it. But yeah, Spilt Milk is a fun I like, out of all the songs that are overtly about turning 40 and regrets and fears, I like the sentiment of Spilt Milk a lot. Like, I relate to the lyrics. I enjoy how the title is like this playful pop-year thing. It's not super serious. He's not talking about fires going out last days of summer. And I really love that fucking build-up. Like, I love that the song, like, during the verses, just this like poppy little jaunt. I once showed the song to someone, and when it was starting, like the ding 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 ding, like that thing, they said it sounded like the soundtrack of like a Barbie animated movie or something, and I couldn't argue against it because I was like, technically that would not be out of place in like the background of like a high school with girls. But that's what makes the like build up and chorus work really well. Like, it's just this. It just really like feels like really fucking heavy and crushing in a really interesting way. Like, it's very ostentatious. It's got all these fucking swooshing orchestral dun 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 like thing to it. Yeah, I love all these. You know, lyrics aren't amazing, but they're like, I really appreciate all the sentiments that are being said. Like, I relate to that feeling of imagining like all the different routes your life could have taken and been, and if you've chosen like a wrong path and could have done things differently, and you know, you can't go back and revert any of the mistakes you've made. And the song is short enough. I mean, this should have been a fucking single, honestly, and put on the album too while you're at it. Take There Is No F off of there. And yeah, it is always too late. Very good that he realized that. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Put your glasses on.
But it does sound kind of like that, honestly.
It starts off like weirdly.
Yeah, like this weird swooshing thing too.
I thought it was good. It did feel like songs like 39. Like, this is what he was going for and just way overshot. At least in terms of tone, like, this is regretful, but not saccharine and ridiculous. You know, he's talking about a girl, a smile, a holiday, and sex. Okay, that seems reasonable.
Yeah. All the means to justify the end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Sometimes I wonder.
The drumming itself is decent, but I don't really like the drum sound. I do like the guitar. I kind of like the vocals, especially later. I don't really like the synth or keyboard thingy. I do like the guitar solo sections. This is once again a song where it's hard to make out if there's bass or when there's bass. Like, I think there's bass during the chorus, but at no other point.
That's definitely a thing that starts with like 2000s era production.
Yeah, it's weird.
Way more in the new album.
It's a decent song, but it does not quite work for me.
It's fine. I enjoy it as one of these pop songs. Like, I want to call it a single, but it's not. But I would throw it in there.
It's okay. Pile. You can call it a single. You're the one saying it, so there's no one around to jump down your throat and tell you you're wrong.
I am. Oh, I see how it is. I'm looking at myself in the mirror, pointing. You're weak.
Yeah, you see, you're inside the tent pissing out.
Wrong.
That's where you need to be. Your cringe cries in a mirror.
Yeah. Well, this, for a long time, I keep wanting to call it like the last good Cure album because I'm still not used to there being a new Cure album, which is better than this. Yeah, but after this, going forward, just real quick, it's gonna be very strange for the Cure because even though he knows that this is like, you know, this is a successful like execution of an album, like artistically speaking, this is a solid album from a musical point of view. It's not commercially successful at all. Doesn't do shit. But at least he can be reassured that, you know, like he knows he's made something that he can be proud of, which I don't think he, even though he defends Wild Moods things, I think deep down he's like, And after this, he films a DVD called Trilogy, just to piss off fans, because like fans calling 17 Seconds, Faith, and Pornography the trilogy was like a diegetic thing. Like they were never like announced as that by the band. Fans thought like, hey, these three, like 17 Seconds is kind of weird, but still, they're called like the goth, you know, the trilogy. They're like the thing that kind of gave the Cure a reputation after, you know, the Three Imaginary Boys kind of a one-off, and then these three kind of established their sound, and they're very important to people, especially older fans. For him to co-opt that name and make a DVD of him playing, of the band playing live Pornography, Disintegration, and Bloodflowers back to back to back, and release it as trilogy, it's kind of him giving the finger to people and be like, no, I'm in charge. And you know, his like control streak is all over the place here. Like him having like control on the packaging and the design side and stuff like that. Like he's really like, I'm the king, and that's an unfortunate aspect of it. But you know, it's still a good album. I don't think this is anyone's favorite Cure album, but it's a good like return to form
album rather than a good album.
I don't know. I think it's like a C+ from me. So I think that's barely good.
Yeah, C. I'd still C.
Like I put this below, you know, most of the stuff we've seen. Like Disintegration, Kiss Me, Head on the Door, Faith, 17 Seconds, Pornography, and Wish are all better than this. I think it's slightly better than the top, because the top only has like really a couple songs I like. Here I like a majority of the songs, just have tiny problems with them. Whereas there are multiple songs I dislike on the top. And Three Imaginary Boys just does do a lot for me, because a lot of the love I have for it is more like I don't know. I mean, I guess it's on par with this. I can imagine your board's C++, but a lot of it is like, oh, that's cute, because they're like 18 years old, like Meat Hook. Yeah. Next time we visit The Cure, they break with Fiction Records, the record label they've been doing stuff with till now, and work with a new producer, Ross Robinson, who produced the Korn albums. Yep.
Korn,
crazy.
You say?
We're going new metal, boys. Yes, it is.
Wait, is that because
that really is
it sounds like Korn?
Well,
I don't
The Cure.
think so.
I mean, I'll get in.
Okay.
I'll get into it more, but essentially, The Cure are a big influence on new metal, and around that time of that album, there's like a big like they do this big show where a bunch of bands come to pay tribute to The Cure. It's really weird. Like Deftones are there. They play a cool cover of "Only Time We Could Sleep." Blink-182 play "Letter to Elise." Fucking like AFI is there. They just chose stuff. Like, you know, it's kind of The Cure's like influence becomes much more apparent in the next few years, because bands are no longer competing with The Cure, because they're already seen as like has-beens. So everyone just like is out praising their like, oh yeah, totally, like our band wouldn't exist without The Cure. We all love Robert Smith and we want to do stuff with them. And so Robert Smith's like, oh, Robert Smith likes the sound of this upcoming generation of darker songs in the early 2000s, darker music. And he's like, I'm gonna get a producer of one of those to work with, and it was not a good match. Yeah, more on that next time. Bye.